It's Donnie, and it's time for me to tell this tale. For anyone that is under a spell, a love spell, a spell of any kind from any dark witch or any dark force, it doesn't matter. Dark, light, love spells are not natural, and they are very harmful to the people that they're done to. So, my story, it begins with me being at home. I was running from myself. I went through a lot, and I was dealing with PTSD and things of that nature, undiagnosed. Didn't know. But it was very difficult for my family because my ego had taken complete control of me. And I was nothing but my ego self, shadow self. I was never going home to my family. I always wanted to return home to that bottle of alcohol. And a mutual friend of me and this particular witch had passed away, and I saw her at the funeral, and when I walked by her, we made eye contact, and when I did, I felt a ringing in my ears. Something was off. I just had to know who this person was. And then when somebody said my old nickname, she spoke and said, I used to date that guy. Then I realized who she was, and I just wanted to know if she was okay and what had happened to her. It was just, wow, I haven't seen you in forever kind of thing. And then after that, people started talking, and, we were all gathered up. And I do remember there was a time where she stood over on this side of me, over here, and she was messing with my hair like this, and she goes, I like men with long hair. Now I know why. She needs a piece of your hair or some part of it. And then I could feel her doing stuff like that on the back of my neck, kind of. And quickly she took her hands off and backed away. And I went home and I was like, man, that's that chick that, I did date in high school. And, she called me up saying, I want to have your baby. And she was just nuts. And so I broke up with her then, and it was very public, and it was very, very mean because I knew something wasn't right about her then. And I did feel bad about it. And so that guilt was kind of like, hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry I treated you bad back then. But I didn't think about it. I just went home, and I had a routine where I would drink and do things, and then I would get on my video games and be loud all night, and I didn't really care about anybody but myself at this time. I wasn't awakened. I was how I am now. I'm not how I am now. I'm not how I am now. Sorry, let me correct myself. Ooh. I was basically delusional. And what had happened was in the bathroom, I would record reaction videos and do things like that. And I went to the bathroom to go set that up, but all of a sudden, and it was seriously out of the effing blue, I couldn't stop thinking about this witch. I couldn't stop. It was just like all of my thoughts and everything. I remember the exact moment I was sitting there, and it was like, no, I got to find her. I need to talk to her. And I went to Facebook Messenger, and I literally typed in her messenger tag. I didn't know it. Now, mind you, I did not know her messenger tag, but I typed it in, popped up, it was her. And I said, hey, and a conversation started. And then it was just infatuation. Now, mind you, yes, I was an ass to my family back then. Oh, God. The awoken me I had to kill that old shadow self. I was bad. But I still loved my wife and I loved my kids so much. But all of a sudden, it was like I didn't care about anything. I had a good job at the time. I was prospering. But I didn't care. I just wanted to talk and be with this witch. I didn't know she was a witch at the time. I didn't know what was happening. And so every day, every second of the day, all of my thoughts were just consumed about her. And then a couple of weeks had gone by, and she booked a hotel, and I just had to go and be with her that weekend. I'm going to get emotional, and please understand, I do walk in the light, and I do understand that emotions are something that you don't hold on to. You feel them and you go. Because I feel such deep regret now that I'm completely awake and completely free from all these spells. That was the day I betrayed the true love of my life, and I betrayed my family. And I didn't care at the time. It was just, I want to be with the witch. I want to be with the witch. I'm going to keep calling her that. I'm going to call her Dark Witch. Dark Witch. I just want to be with the Dark Witch. I just want to be with her. And nothing else to me mattered. Seriously, I didn't care who I hurt. I didn't care what happened. And then slowly but surely, I found a place to move out, which I was going to probably do. I'll get to that part. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is going to be a long video. So buckle up. Get your popcorn. And sorry, I have to let these emotions go because that was not me that did all that. I would have never hurt my family like this. Ever. But it did happen. And I can't say it was 100% because, see, I hadn't awakened and I was facing my fears. All of a sudden, I wasn't facing my fears. Every archon that I had, everything in my subconscious, this witch was telling me the same thing as it happened, like it happened to her. So there was a bond there. Come to find out, none of it was real. None of it. None of the crap she told me. She lies about lying. And I started to become estranged to my family, to my friends. And then I was living in this apartment. I was alone, but I wasn't alone because all my thoughts all day long was like, oh, she's just so wonderful. I just have to be with her. But see, she lived out here where I'm at now, and I was an hour and a half away. She would come down every other weekend. And then eventually, like I said, I moved out, and I just ignored my family. It was all about her, all about the witch. And like, I didn't even take my kids, my sons, we used to go to this haunted house in San Antonio. every Halloween, and I didn't take them. I took her and her son instead. I did everything with her. Instead of going and doing things with my kids, I did them with her. And in my mind, she was the only thing that mattered to me. And so every day was more and more hurt from my family. I was unaware of this. I did become reunited with my cousins. They're the ones who made that Drunkstony YouTube channel. It's got my face on it. Rightfully so. They had warned me about her. They had told me she is a witch. You need to get away. And that Christmas blow up was really them trying to separate me and wake me up. But this spell was so strong, I didn't care. If it didn't have to do with the witch, I didn't care. I just wanted to be with her. And I ended up losing my Riker. I ended up losing the job I worked at, had replaced me. I had found another job, but then my car broke down and I had to get rid of it and got another car. And then I was losing my apartment. But before all of this happened, she would come down, and I do remember, like, there were times she would sit on the bed and light a candle and tell me to concentrate on it. And it's not really candle magic. It's not a spell. You're just look at the flame and concentrate on being with me out here in Marble Falls. And I just listened to every word she said. And I did. And then I couldn't afford my apartment no more. My cousins quit talking to me. My family quit talking to me. My wife filed for divorce. But nothing was mattering. I didn't see that things were falling apart. I saw it as, oh, I'm going to be with her. This is a sign. I had a good place to live after that apartment. Lived there for a month, and then she got me out of there. And last December, a year ago, I moved out here in an RV to be with her. Now, back up. In that apartment, when that would happen, there was one time she brought a bag of runes. I don't know anything about this stuff. But like I said, I was just listening to everything this witch was telling me. And I will never forget, she poured the runes out on the bed. And they were all blank, but one. And there was a pamphlet that came with it that told you what each rune actually meant or something of that nature. And that rune was not on the pamphlet. I don't remember the shape. I don't remember much because it was all like being in a dream, honestly. It was like I was dreaming. So I don't remember the details of all that. Excuse me, I have to get some water as I talk. Let me get some beverage. And then she put them back in the bag and poured them out on the bed again. And they were all that shape. I remember this vividly. And then she put them back in the bag and freaked out. And never brought them up again. I never saw them again. Things like that should have been a sign, right? But when you're under a spell, you don't see it. It was like, I believed everything she told me as truth. And then there would be times like weird things would happen. I would go outside and to have a cigarette because I couldn't smoke in my apartment. I would come back in and there would be like a half drinking bottle of soda that I wouldn't even drink sitting there. Come to find out, it came from her place miles away. I'll tell you how I know all this later. There was another time I came home. I was in the kitchen and I found something by the fridge. I can't remember what it was. It was like, I think it was like a stick sage kind of thing. I don't remember what it was. But when I found it, my bathroom door where the fridge was to my left, the bathroom door was there. And I turned and I'm very good at knowing where people are. I've always had this uncanny ability of knowing where people are around me. And I sensed somebody was in the bathroom and I looked and she was in my bathroom. The witch was in my bathroom. And she looked at me and she went, "Oh shit," and then vanished. And I texted her and let her know that that happened. And she says, "Huh, that's weird," and played it off. All of these weird things she would play off. I was later shown what happened, and I'll go through this entire story. And then my cousins no longer wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to talk to me anymore. And then I noticed people became distant from me. Everybody that would get close to me, she would make sure to push them away. She would make sure that I was trapped only talking to her, the witch. So eventually I moved out into a good place. And while I was there, like I said, I was only there a month. And then she found the place out here and it was like, it's happening, but I wasn't seeing my life was falling apart and this wasn't going to work because I just wanted to be with her. I would always look about her. My thoughts was always on her. There was nothing else in my life but this witch in my mind. And I moved out, moved up there, moved in with her. And whenever I would have a moment that would remind me of my grandparents or remind me of my family, she would flip out. I'm talking about thoughts. And she would go, and then she would blame it on, "Oh, I'm sorry, this guy Howard tortured me, and that's why I did that." She told me stories, and that's how and then she told me how she escaped. But then I noticed she has several escape stories. And I remember one day I asked her, "Why do you have several escape stories? Why did you go back to them?" And she got mad. "Don't ask me stupid crap like that." And then she calmed down and she was like, "Well," and she came up with some excuse. I don't remember what it was, but it didn't make sense. But I was like, "Oh, thank God you got out of there." I know why now. And all of a sudden, as I'm driving home, now mind you, while we were together and we were in San Antonio, of course she's trying to keep it a secret. I need more beverage. Water. So, fingerprint don't match. No, it's still recording. I was like, what? So, I noticed it was every single time I would start to drift back, my mind would drift out of the spell, she would have a blow up, a crash out. And it would bring me back to, oh, you, yes, it's all about you. It's all about you, witch. It's all about you. She never went by her real name. She hates her real name. She went by a name of a friend of hers that had passed away. And as time is going by, she is causing more and more distance between myself and my family, to the point to where my kids today and my wife, ex-wife, because I have to remember this all happened, don't even want to talk to me. I'm trying to plant the seeds and let them know that I'm here, but it's going to take time. And I'm hoping that the damage can be reversed, because I'm not supposed to be away from my home. And I know this for certain. Even my dog, Ranger, passed away missing me. And I had fights with my cousins where I said horrible things to them that I would never say. Well, through this past year, as time was going on, there would be more and more fights because something was drifting me back home. Something was drifting me back towards that location, and she would start fights with people and my families, and my best friend didn't want to talk to me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I was alone with her. I worked in a car, where I was delivering medical labs, and I was driving all the way back out here. And I did all that to be with her, and I didn't care I was isolated. Because when you're under such a spell and you're allowing your subconscious to run your life, and these spells, that's what they do. They get into your subconscious, and they use all of that to push you, because that's how little demon possession actually works. If you ever study Carl Jung, you'll know this. And so it is actually a archon, demon, jinn, whatever you want to call it, that is working with the parasite that everybody has inside of them, inside their mind, that is controlling your actions. And then one day, while I was trying to figure out why am I wanting to stay with her? Everything should be working. We're soulmates. We are the real soulmates. No, my true soulmate is I don't want to say her name publicly. I already have on here, but I don't want any embarrassment. If she wishes to come forward, then she can. It really is my wife. She's my soulmate. And I was listening to this song by Motorhead called Brave New World, and a line came on, and it said, if Jesus came here now, he would be in jail by next week. Brave new world, brave new world. Oh, so I had a thought. A little nugget of truth popped into my head. It was, think of those AI videos that you see, and it showed like Jesus popping up in the middle of the mall, or middle of like a busy square, just showing up, and people freaking out. The cops arresting him, and while they're taking him to the car, these other cops were like, yay man, let him go. No, he's good. That's my homie. That's Jesus. Look, I know him. And Jesus looked at him and said, I don't know who you are. Yeah, I don't know you. And they were like, dude, I did the thing. And they said it just like that in my head. I did the thing. Look, I got the cross. I got the tattoo. I did the thing. I've always begged you for. All this. I do the thing all the time. And Jesus was like, I never told you to do the thing. I don't know who you are. And then He voluntarily went into the cop car, like, take me away, get me out of here. And I laughed because I was thinking, like, man, dude, if Jesus is supposed to be all forgiving, why would he be like that? Because I think that's actually in the Bible, that people will come to Jesus on his second coming and they will say to him, you know, he'll look at them and say, I don't know you. And then, boom, it was like an electric thing just clicked. A tiny little spark went off in my noodle, a little thought, and it was, wow, how can Jesus forgive you if you don't forgive yourself? That's the same thing as somebody making a mistake. Like, man, I'm falling short on my rent because I'm making these financial decisions that aren't smart. So somebody loans them some money, and then next month they're short, and next month they're short because they're not learning their lesson. They're using you to bail them out. Jesus isn't there to bail you out. You must forgive yourself first, and then you are truly forgiven. Sin isn't something that needs to be washed off of you through his blood. That actually sounds pretty metal if you think about it, but that's not how it is. So, that thought, I felt more spiritual. I was religious again, starting to look at these verses in the life of Jesus in a completely different light all of a sudden, all throughout the day. And because I had a lot of alone time in the car, like I said, I was completely alone. And all of a sudden, that's when I saw a video that was titled, I can't remember the guy, Morg Official, I think his name is. I used the Bible as a spell book, and this is what happened. And I thought, I'm going to rip into this dude. What is this? So I watched it, and that's when I discovered Gnosticism. That's when I discovered Carl Jung. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm going to therapy every Monday because I needed it. I had CPTSD. That's what I was diagnosed with. So all of a sudden, it just snapped. It made sense. Through my therapy, I'd already found my inner strength. My inner strength went inside, looked at all my demons, and said, you cannot touch this child. My first memories I do have of is being locked under a sink. And believe it or not, when you are put into a cabinet or something like that, even though that sounds cruel, in there you are at peace because the monster's on the outside of the door. So that scared little kid was in the cabinet. My inner strength opened the cabinet up and said, come on out. Took the little kid's hand, looked at the monsters and says, you can't touch them. They can't hurt you. And my eyes closed, and it was like an explosion of just knowledge. And when I opened my eyes, everything looked like it was made out of light. Everything. Then I started studying Gnostic. Well, I did. My first thought was, how am I going to drive home like this? And then it went away. Because I was still under the spell, mind you. So I started studying Carl Jung. I started studying Gnosticism. I started becoming an esoteric Christian, all on my own. And I wanted to share this with her. And she completely rejected it. Of course, I didn't know, like I said. And as that rejection was happening, this feeling of, yo, this isn't right, dude. Something is wrong, started coming over my body, just started coming over my thoughts. See, while we were living out there, we went to a concert. I don't want to say the band or the lead singer or anything like that, because like I said, it did happen. If they want to come forward, they can. But at this concert, we were all of a sudden allowed to go backstage. We didn't have tickets to go backstage. And we got to meet the lead singer. And I have a picture where this witch took her crystal that she wears, this black crystal, and she touched it with this other lead singer of this band. And very shortly after that, the hype man of the band got sick and passed away. The lead singer of that band got kicked out of the band and is now, doing her own thing, but been sued by the band and things of that nature. Her life started falling apart. The property we were living on, the guy was a recovering alcoholic. All of a sudden, he started drinking heavily again. And he was a country boy, dude. All country music, knew nothing of rock, didn't care about any of that stuff. And to the point to where he had a seizure and almost died. And I ran into him again. And when I did, Mr. Country Boy was kind of like a rock star at this time. He was no longer country, and he has piercings. The same piercings, same place. Not in the nose, but on the eye and right here where this witch has. That's today, but I actually skipped to a bunch of time. Maybe this is being Pulp Fiction. So as I'm realizing this isn't right, I need to go, all of a sudden every day is hell. Remember when I said that she would crash out whenever I would have a thought and it would start to break the spell? Well, now she's crashing out all the time. All of a sudden I notice her teeth are meth teeth. I can smell the meth coming off of her breath. I could smell the meth coming off of her clothes. And I realized she's a meth head. And I had to get out of there. I thought I would never see my family again because it got to the point to where I thought she was going to actually kill me. We were stuck out in the middle of nowhere in an RV. She would hit me. That's why my glasses, let me find them. That's why right here they're crooked, because this one right here, this part right there, see how it's wobbly? It's bent. She's punched me several times. She would start spitting on me. I would have my food, and she would take my food and throw it in the trash and throw the hot plate at me, or throw the whole thing in the sink. And it was crash out every single day. The only peace I got at this time, once I woke up and once this was happening, it was like I didn't have time to actually become fully enlightened. It was like a crash, but I knew I was safe. Because at this time I had found the Father, the true source. I discovered the true Holy Trinity is the one, the monad, his first thought, the mother Barbelo, and their child, Jesus, the template that would become Jesus that came down to the earth. The third, that's the Holy Trinity. Then the next child is us. And when the first human construct was created, it told the Father, I am so thankful, and all that belonged to you will return to you. And then if you get into Gnosticism, you get the whole thing, the whole deal. I was shown that it doesn't matter names or anything like that. It's just, it doesn't matter if you're into Buddhism, it doesn't matter if you're in alchemy, it doesn't matter what you're into. They're going to have certain different names of it all. It doesn't matter what you call it or what it is. It just matters that you get to the point of inner enlightenment and you get back to the source and you reconnect with the consciousness this entire thing is made out of. I started to realize that we're all basically divine consciousness, and this is our dream. But I knew I was safe because I was being protected. I didn't know how, but I knew I was. I knew I didn't have to do anything. She would crash out. when I'd go into my calm, I would start recording, only because to protect myself. Because now she's calling the landlords to try to tell them I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the other, when I didn't do any of this. I would go on Facebook Live and have it pointed at the door, listening to her just tell lie after lie about me, making me seem like a horrible person. With my wife, it should never have been my ex-wife, her stories are true. This witch's stories are all false. And it got to the point to where the male landlord called me and said he was going to come up there with his gun and run me off the property. Now, I could have taken legal action. I could have done something to protect myself there, but it was like, no, there's a sign, you got to go. I knew I was already trying to find an apartment, trying to find a way out, but I did. I got out of there. I got an abundance. I got a windfall, and I was able to get out. And as I'm leaving, as days are going by, her son would be there every other weekend. When her son wasn't there, I walked over to her and I asked her, why did you do this? What happened? Like, why are you crashing out why are you lying on me like this? I never treated you bad. But now I'm seeing her not in the same light. It's kind of like Shallow Hal, I used to see her with this radiant smile and this beautiful face, and now I'm seeing her as a saggy, overweight, gap-toothed witch, with her hair falling out. And it's like, but why are you lying on me like this? And she did. She looked at me and she goes, well, about 3.5. She goes, well, when I first saw you, I said, oh yeah, I'm going to make this man's life miserable. That's the first thing she said. And she says, but you need to just leave. I need to get you away from me. She goes, you were not supposed to come home. She said this to me as I was driving back from San Antonio. She goes, but no, instead of dying in a car crash, you kept showing up at home. And not only did you keep showing up, you found a job out here. And then I remember she took me to a concert, Psychostick. I literally broke my leg at that concert. But not only did my leg heal quickly, I didn't lose my job, my leg healed quickly, and they gave me an award. She goes, I don't know how you're able just to get right through all of this, but you need to go. See, and there were times when she was crashing out, I would be in the bedroom, because in an RV, it's basically, that's what it is. It's a room with a bed in it. You don't have much room for nothing else. And I would use that as my place of meditation, to connect to the true source, to connect to our Father. And through my brother, Jesus. And I would meditate and just be filled with light. It felt like I had a shield of armor on me. And one day, I will never forget this. When she was crashing out hard, she busted open. After this is when I decided to start doing Facebook Live all the time when I would be home. Or just have a device recording all the time. But before I did that, she busted open the door. And as the door would be on this side of me over here, at the edge of the bed. There's not much room, so she's already you have to climb onto the bed. So she's jumping onto the bed, just with this evil look on her face. Fist is right here. And before she could touch me, as she was doing it, I don't know, I do know what possessed me to say it. But at the time I didn't. I just calmly said, Jezebel spirits cannot harm me. Jezebel spirits are not allowed in this room. This is a holy place. And I'm talking like her fist stopped, like right there, like where my I'm still like looking straight at the phone. I was looking straight ahead and it was right there, and it started backing up, and this look on her face was like, and it was like she wanted to go forward, but she's crawling out the room reluctantly, and she gets out the door, and I said, "Now close the door to this holy sanctuary," and she did. But then she started beating on it, and then she started going outside and just beating the crap out of the RV. She broke the electrical cable outside. I mean, she's lucky she didn't electrocute herself, but that she's not worried about. At the time, I don't think she was worried about being injured, and I'll get into that too. And so I knew I was safe. I knew I had the protection of God. And then one day, I'm going into work. I was like 2 hours early, and I see her with another man. And something told me to record it, and I put it up on my Facebook. It was a story. It's going away. It went away. She may have saved it or did whatever she did, but. And I put the caption, "Next time on Drunken Losers," or it was on Drunken Cheaters, because it was straight up. She noticed me. They both noticed me, and it was straight up boom, walk of shame, instant. And I didn't think nothing of it. I'm working my entire shift. And as I'm in the very back of the store, out in the garden center, making sure the lock is locked, going out there, because I felt somebody. Like I said, I could always sense other people around. Now, mind you, I could not sense her. She could walk right in front of me, and I couldn't feel her. I can sense everybody else listening. I can sense everybody else around me, but I never have been able to sense her, ever. Until I became enlightened, I could kind of feel where she was. So this man comes walking in, pissed, with the intention, I can feel his intention was to stab me. And as he comes up to yell at me, and he comes up to start this, he has another person with him, and this person's looking like, what the hell? Like he was shopping, like he gave him a ride. So I'm thinking I have to take on two people. But I know I'm protected. I'm moving to the side as he's getting in my face. I pull out the phone. I instantly dial 911. It happened right away. Because he's talking about, what he's yelling at me is, how dare you try to get this witch kicked. And I'm not going to say her name at the moment, because this is her fake name, and that's her witch name. I don't want to put that out right now, not in this story. You're trying to get her kicked out. You're trying to do this, that, and the other. How dare you treat her horrible? How dare you do this, that, and I can tell she got this man riled up, and I could smell the meth coming off of him too. And he was so methed out that he failed at his mission. And so when he realized I was on the phone with the cops, his story changed. Don't take videos of me, you mug, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself that he has no idea what I used to do for a living. I'm trained to put people like him down and cuffed up. I wasn't scared. But I remember saying to him, I didn't take any pictures or videos of you. I was taking pictures and videos of her. You just happened to be standing extremely close to her at the time. On the phone with the cops, by the way. And the cops even asked me, like, where's he at? So I realized there's not a lot of people in the store. The store's about to close. So I actually follow him, because I was like very on with it. You know, got him outside. It was such a relief, the point when the cops came out, and I was like, there he is. They got the dude. And I went over to the other cop, and I didn't have to say a word. This guy just was spilling the beans, dude. He was telling them everything. And I just stood there, and the other cop was standing there, and I was like, well, that's I don't know, what else do you want me to add to that? And so they asked me if anybody else was on the property, and I said yes, her son. And then they were concerned about her child. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else to the cops. They were concerned. So, I mean, but going through it, like, she would yell at her son about schoolwork and this, that, and the other, and then wake up the next day and go to work and completely forget he was there. Jeez. But I'd be like, oh, well, she had a hard night. You know, when you're under a spell like this, it's horrible for you. So I'm already completely snapped out of it. Like I said, at this time, I'm already looking for another place to live. And I realize I need to move back home. I should have never left my house. I was supposed to become awakened at home, and I'll tell you how I know all this in a minute. I haven't gotten there yet. So finally, I'm away. And she is telling me things like that, like, you should have died. But you're not. Nothing's working on you. So just go. And so I did. I left. And then she realizes, hey, this guy is still prospering. Because she not only put a love spell on me, she put a spell of poverty on me as well. But no matter what happens, I always seem to have what I need. Kind of weird when you walk with God, that happens, right? The one true source. And when I moved out here, dude, I was such a nervous wreck in this, where I'm at right now. But then I got this scooter, because I lost my other car. Like I said, it was loss after loss for me. And it just changed everything, dude. I would go scooting around and come back, smile on my face. Everything was great. And life is good. Yeah, life is good. And then life is good. I deleted everything about her. Everything about her. So I don't have pictures. I don't have any of that of her. She's blocked on everything. I canceled her phone line. I took the internet. It's my internet. She has to get all of this on her own, but she will. She will, because what... okay, let me get to that. So as I become more and more enlightened, I knew this was the right path to walk. And as I sat here and meditated and talked with the Father, walked with the Mother, walked with Jesus, our brother, I was one day, and I'm telling you, I'm completely sober. I don't do anything. I know there was a video where you saw me doing the Mario, and this guy's like, this crap. No, I'm high on life, dude. I don't need anything. I love life. So there was a video I put out where I was like walking back and forth on this trail I found, and I was like doing these Mario voices. Anyways, it's a short. So I would meditate and go into deep meditation, and one time in my meditation, everything vanished, and all I had was a staircase, and on the top of the staircase was a door. And as I took every step, it was like everything would disappear, and I'm faced in a room with a literal demon that's not touching me, but it's trying to get me to feel bad. It's trying not to get me to take the next step. It's trying to keep me locked in that room. I would pass the test. I would move on to the next step. I would pass the test, move on to the third step. They go after your sexuality. They go after your sexual thoughts. They go after your what you did to other people. Anything you feel ashamed of, they've tried to get you to constantly be that shameful. And it's different levels of this. After the third step, I said, this is ridiculous. I am part of the one true consciousness, the one true light. I'm walking to that door. And I walked up every step. I could feel that they were there, But these demons, archons, jinn, like I said, we're going to talk. They wouldn't touch me. When I made it to that door and I opened it, I cannot explain to you what I saw. It was literally let me get some more drink and try to get my thoughts back in order. All kinds of whatever you call it, shapes, just constantly moving in every color, but it's all at once, and I just wasn't prepared for it. And there was even a face in there, but I can't explain to you what it looked like. I couldn't even draw it because if I tried, even if I was a skilled artist, there's no way I would do this justice. And I paused because I wasn't expecting to see that. I didn't know it was on the other side of the door, but I walked through it. And when I did, I was shown everything. I can't explain this. This is extremely impossible to explain because it is so much. But if you want to know, there is a fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, 12th. There's layers that come down to where we're at. At the very end, when you get all the way to it, it is one consciousness that is the source of all of this. But when I was told, I even sat down with the demiurge because he's not inherently evil. He was just ignorant. But now he knows he's middle management. He created this. It's his job to make sure every of these other beings under him are acting accordingly. The archons that he created and what's going on are acting accordingly and not acting up and doing things they shouldn't be doing. It's very hard to keep the balance. And he asked me a question, what would you do? How would you balance this out? Because basically, whenever you get angry, anger is not a primary emotion. It's more one emotion that comes involved, and it usually has to do with your subconscious, which is not inherently evil, it's trying to protect you, but it uses all of that to create anger. When anger comes about, that is a little demon possession because that's the only way they know how to get into this world. And it's kind of like even the small time that they're here, because time is irrelevant, it's like they're taking a vacation. So they do feed off of that energy to keep that going. But then there's the enlightened ones, and that is like, it's like the honey. And that source of your emotions and your power, that actually feeds the eons, angels that are here. Anytime you're happy, anytime you smile, anything like that. And so there has to be a balance between that in order for this 3D realm to continue to work the way it is. And I just looked at him and said, I don't envy you in your job. This is very hard. I wouldn't want this position that you're in because I would just wake everybody up. That's what I said. I would enlighten the entire world and let everybody walk around knowing what they're searching for is actually inside of them. The kingdom of heaven is inside and without. As above, so below. Until you make your subconscious conscious, it will rule your life, but you will see it as fate. These are all true statements. It is to know yourself, to forgive yourself, and to face your past and your demons with confidence. It's not an easy thing to do. A lot of people aren't going to understand that. A lot of people can't do that. And that's okay. It's going to take time with some. But when I was woken back up, when I woke back up here, I realized I was shown my entire, not, it wasn't my entire, well, yeah, it was a lot about my life. But when you come back down to this 3D realm, because of the capacity that we have inside of our brain, we do not have the capacity to remember everything that we saw in that realm because it is just way too much. Your mind would explode. You go and try completely insane. So you can be left with messages. And so every time I meditate, I get a little bit more, a little bit more. But at this time, I saw exactly what happened. I saw the different timelines. So you cannot, if you're trying to get something and people say, I'm trying to manifest, I'm trying to do this, unless you put that effort out there, you don't create the timeline for it to happen. You can't have anything until you have it. Like, if you want a successful business, well, then you better get out there and start pushing forward to get that business, so that there will be a timeline where it'll be successful even though it's failing today, and you can interact and merge those two together. Time is irrelevant. Just a way to explain it to you. So I was shown, like I said, there were other times I should have woken up at home, but the one thing that was going to bring me awake was after I had this panic attack. And I went and went on my friend's group and started telling them about this loss and everything. I'd already lost my grandparents. I'd already losing people. And I'd broken down to the point to where my substance abuse of alcohol had gotten so bad that I actually did move into the same apartment, but I wasn't gone as long. I realized I woke up in that apartment and I came back home. Not seeing anybody else. I was completely single in this timeline I'm watching. And this is the correct timeline. This is where I should be. And then while I was there, that's when my ex and my children saw the change in me that they would see today if they would allow me to come home, or they would get to know me today. Because you have to die to your old self. You cannot put, the analogy that I was told to say is, you cannot put new wine into an old wineskin. If the wineskin doesn't burst, it will sour the new wine. You must destroy the old wineskin, create a new wineskin to put the new wine in there. Think of the wine as your enlightenment, and you must die to your old self. That's why I went through these trials. My old self died. I killed it. You have to, if you want to be enlightened, if you want to follow the path. And just like now, I don't drink. I don't do anything, but I have cigarettes I smoke. And when I do smoke them, everything that I do, I'm not saying that it's not to do that, it's bad, it's inherently bad. But if you're going to like smoke weed and you do it thanking the Father, and you just take this, the little hits you need to help you meditate and keep you in that state, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to drink every now and again to help you sleep or whatever, or to help you get through, 1 or 2 drinks, especially at a gathering, that's why it's called spirits, because it literally, see, weed helps you open your third eye. It's putting it inside of your head, and it helps you become, that's why you get all happy and you realize that whatever you are inside, whatever you truly are, whatever your archons are, whatever your subconscious is, it does bring that to the light. But whenever you try to drink alcohol, what happens is it actually brings you down closer to the earth. It's more part of this 3D realm, so it is able to put holes inside of your system to where archons can actually come up. That's why people can get together, be happy, drinking, and then all of a sudden they're fighting. And that's why that's why you can get 5 guys together drinking, and they're all of a sudden they're punching each other, fighting, and causing all kinds of problems. And then you get 5 guys together and they smoke weed and they form a band. I saw a meme that said that. I thought, yeah, that's a good way to explain it. But not to abuse it. There's a lot. I know. I have achieved gnosis. And when you achieve gnosis, you realize it's still a practice. I can't fly. I can't literally walk on water, so I still need to practice. But you can do it in your head. Think of the water and the storm as your bad. So anyways, I'm getting away from the story. Focus. And this is all true. This is witches and all that. These are true. These are real things. So I was given a charge, and apparently I had a bracelet put on me since I was at birth to protect me, and it comes from the one true source, and it has become my armor. So after realizing all of this, and after seeing that timeline, then I was shown what happened when I left. When the witch put the spell on me, the timeline I'm in now, I wasn't shown what I was doing. I was shown my true love, my soulmate, crying. I saw the heartbreak. I saw how my kids hate me because of what I did to her. I felt their pain. I felt my cousins for what I said to them. And it's emotional because as I'm going through the memories, I remember it that way. I remember the pain I put them through. But the message that my cousins need to hear is that horrible thing I threw back in their face, that pain that they're going through, I'm not going to put that out publicly. But what I will say for solace, so you know, that individual that y'all miss like to watch videos. And that's how I saw that video. It was like, here, wake up, Donnie. Because when you leave this realm, you're eternal. You don't go away, you just go back into the other planes and your energy goes everywhere. So now where I sit today is I'm completely cut off by this witch. I've completely got her cut off. All of her spells are broken on me. She has no power over me. Because what I was shown, once you make your subconscious conscious, once you do like the inner like the outer, once you do make the as above so below, once you do find the kingdom of heaven inside and see it outside, all you have to do at that point in time is say, I don't believe I am not under any spells or control, period. And they're broke. They're gone. No evil spells can harm me. No other outside forces or anything of the darkness can hurt you. And so she's gotten desperate. She needs another lock of my hair. She needs to look into my eyes because they are the key to your soul. She's trying to get this poverty to go away. Because what I was shown about her, about this witch, let's get back to her now. What I was shown about her was she's been doing this since middle school. She's been using candle magic and black magic since then. She has a job where she only makes $12 an hour, works 4 days a week for 5 days a week, but yet she always has money. She should have, things that would kill a normal person, she doesn't harm her. What she has been doing for a very long time, she has been sucking the life force off of people around her, people who get to know her. And she can do this at a distance. She can't do this to me. That's why she went to my job. That's why she wouldn't know if I'm here. She can no longer sense me. She no longer has any attachments to me. That's why I went. This is the whole point of all this. She can't feed off my life force. She can't feed off the life force of people I know. But I was shown several times she has done this and got people, men and women, to fall in love with her or become infatuated with her. And then when she's done sucking their resources off of them, she sees how they can be useful in the future. And those are the people she keeps around as friends. And they will always never prosper, because any prosperity will go to her. And when they have nothing to prosper over, she literally casts a death spell on them and kills them in a tragic accident, or they take their life, or something of that nature, and then that energy goes to her. The problem, and this is why she's desperate right now. Remember when I said that I had that bracelet of protection put on me when I was born? My bloodline is very connected to the source, mostly through my father and my it's the mixture of the bloodlines. My grandfather, and yeah. So she basically messed with a soldier of God that woke up and realized what he was. I'm talking about me. Making some more water here. Drinky. And now she realized that, because the reason why I couldn't sense her is because, yes, the one knew she was here and doing this, but even though it's a consciousness, and yes, God is all knowing, but you ever notice how, like, you look at the sink and you want to turn it on and you focus on the knob to turn it on, then you focus on the water, but you are aware of everything? It's the same concept. She was hiding behind the awareness. But now he sees what she's done. Now he sees all hundreds, dude. She did this in high school. I didn't know this. A person in high school came, that we went to school, we all went to the same school. Another girl came to her and asked her, because she liked the guy that was with this other girl, and he was in love with her. She did the same spell she did on me to this guy. And this guy became so infatuated with her to the point to where this girl was just like, he won't leave me alone, stop it and break it. And she didn't know how. Because she doesn't know how to stop it. So the only way she knows how to stop it is to keep you at a distance. She can lower it, or she has to kill you. That's it. That is also why she works in home health care, because she goes around people who are passing away. None of her clients last long. None of them. Because she sucks their life force off every time she's there. Whether she's aware of it or not, she's turned this on. I don't care. You know. I'm here to expose these people. I realize my mission. If anybody practices witchcraft, to where they take somebody's free will away from them and forces them to fall in love with you or somebody else, or takes their life force from them, takes resources from them. I'm here to warn you. The Almighty Father knows. And it's ending. If you all of a sudden realize, I'm in love with this person, and all your thoughts are about them, you're under that spell. Seek whichever religious guidance you need to break it. Expose that person. Say their real name. Let everybody know that that is a witch. A black witch. I don't care if you're black or good. I've watched witches expose this and say, I did it. Yeah, well, you're going to pay for that. You took somebody's free will away from them. I would like, in a way, I don't know how to get this published, but I would like other like-minded individuals who've ever gone through anything like this, leave a comment, reach out to me. We need to get together. We need to form Legion. We need to wake up as many people who are under these spells as possible. We need to wear, because then don't worry. You're wearing the armor of God. Do you know how powerful that is? It's like you, it's eternal. It can never be damaged. It can never be hurt. It's a protection around you. But these witches don't have that protection. It's time to stop. Every night I go to bed, I am shown how it would have been if I'd woken up at home, the way it was supposed to play out before this witch came in and took my free will. The rose garden in front of the house would have been built. Ranger would have lived longer. The sadness wouldn't have happened. They would have seen, hey, Dad's acting weird. He's selling his consoles and he's more at peace. I would have put my family first. The bottle would have disappeared. But instead, and then I wake up and I'm here in this timeline. If you have ever manifested or put a spell on anyone, that special person, to get them to like you, you took their free will away, and it's the worst thing you can do, and that is actual blasphemy, and you will be punished by the full mighty force of God. Your reckoning is coming. This is a warning. Walk in the light. Because that pain that I feel to this day, I just want to go home. I just want to be home with my family. I want to set the timeline right. And I know it can happen because it's shown to me that I have that in a different, But instead, the Father looks at how this particular witch has injured me and countless others, hundreds of others. You see, the second coming of Christ and this holy battle that we're told about, it isn't going to be like the depiction you saw. Jesus isn't going to come flying down on a cloud like Goku on a flying Nimbus. No, the second coming of Christ is realizing Christ is in you. Christ is your brother. You are Christ. You are part of the one true source. You are part of the light. It is in you. And you wake up and you're born. You kill your old self and you're born again. And it is happening. There are more and more people waking up at an accelerated rate. Way more than it was before. I decree, because I am, if you are a witch that has ever taken anyone's freedom away, and you have not given up on that, and you have not turned to the light, because see, repent doesn't mean, oh, repent. It means to change your mindset. Repent isn't a bad thing. Like the church, you need to repent. Well, I mean, the current Christian church is mostly pagan. Sorry, my butt's falling asleep. I gotta shuffle. Now, let me pause this. Okay, my butt's still asleep. At least it's comfortable. Repent. That's where I was. It's to change your mindset. It's to realize who you are. It is whenever you feel angry to stop. Don't allow it. Leave, isolate yourself if you have to, and think, why am I angry? Angry is not a primary emotion. It's not an emotion we're supposed to feel. Which emotions cause this to happen, and where did they come from? What happened in my past that my subconscious is trying to protect me from? Because your subconscious can't see, it can only feel the emotions. It can see, but it only sees emotions and things of that nature that your conscious is feeding it. More water. So you don't need to use any other spells, any other protection things. But if that's what you get, I'm not saying wearing beads and Buddhism and having crystals and all that. I'm not saying that that's bad. But you have to know that, the golden scissors to cut the cord and all that stuff, that's not bad. If that's what you need to get there. Like I said, I was shown it doesn't matter which path you take to get to the light, as long as you get to it, no witch can harm you. Believe that no witch can harm you, and they can't. So all you witches who ever done that, the Father has taken away every power you've had. It's over. You're going to notice you do your tarot readings, and you're going to notice you're doing your things, and it's all going to be wrong. It's the season of the witch is over. The holy war has begun. It's been going on. But more and more people are waking up to you. I have no idea where that came from. That's not even where I was going to go with it. I didn't even feel like me saying that. I will return home to my family. I love them very much. I will help the house. My family will prosper and grow while we're united. So if you do know anybody that ever says, oh yeah, I manifested my special person, break all contacts with them, isolate yourself from them and stay away from them, call them by their full name and call them out as a witch as they are. Period. And do what you need. Like I said, if you need to get crystals and because there is certain things you can do and all that, but know that it's not the crystals. That's not what's actually got the power. The power's in you, and those things are more of like a way to amplify what is already within you. It's helped to focus on it. And never look a witch in the eyes. Unless you're divine. Because when you're divine, you'll scare the crap out of them. I notice there are other ones out here. They won't look at me. They shake when I walk by. But a lot of other people out here, I've helped random people just come up to me, start talking to me. So this is all true. This is 100% facts. This is where I'm at right now. I'm living my life in this 3D realm knowing I'm going to be okay tomorrow, not worrying about a thing, knowing I'm walking in the light. I don't know how, but I know it's going to happen. I know there's going to be an army of us, holy warriors. And it's not like we're out there holy rolling, we're thumping our Bible. King James Version has 66 books in it when the actual Bible had over 1,000. But they destroyed it and put it into control because they saw how, like, these little amulets and things that the pagans were using, it was easy to control the pagans, so they mixed paganism with Christianity, and that's what we have today. But when you truly awaken and you truly read every book of the Bible, like the book of Thomas, the book of Mary Magdalene, she was actually a disciple, but the church took the current church we have took all the femininity out. You have to have the femininity with the masculinity. And see, witches focused on the femininity without the masculinity. Just like, the evangel, I don't know what I call them, King James, whatever, the current church today focuses on the masculinity and took out all the femininity. You're always going to be wanting. A magnet has to have positive and negative energy to have that magnetic charge. If you chop the negative energy off, then you no longer have a magnet. Same thing with witches. You chop the positive energy off, you no longer have a magnet. So who's doing your magic if it's not coming from you? Some of the stuff I'm saying, I don't even know where it's coming from, dude. It's just coming out of my mouth right now. I received a major download yesterday, but I couldn't get my thoughts in order to put this out. Well, I hope you have a good day and be blessed. Have a Merry Christmas. Walk in the light. Life is good. Don't worry. Jesus is your brother. You think your brother's going to let you down? You think your father doesn't know? Just trust that they're trying, and look at what's happening. They're trying. When you say, "Oh, I'm struggling. How do I get out of this?" Okay, looks at what you're doing, and then says, "This is what you need to be doing," but you don't see the signs. All right, so it's a repeated thing. I mean, any parent knows sometimes you got to just let the kid touch the hot stove. It's no, don't do it. No, don't do it. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. All right. You know the kid's going to be fine. But you also know what's going to happen afterwards, and then the kid's going to learn. It's that kind of thing. You're okay. You're being guided by your father and your mother and your brother. The true Holy Trinity. Father, mother, child, family. That is real. That is God. I just got filled with so much love right now. It is insane what happened. I love you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my night. I guess put this out. But if anybody has gone through any similar experience or witnessed this, we need to get together. We need to form Legion. God's calling us. He's awakening us. Our army is coming. It's an army of peace. But we're fighting for our peace, dude. Some of us are warriors. You don't have to be a man to be a warrior in this. Men and women. Women have their traits, but they have to find their masculinity. Men have our traits, and we have to find our femininity. It has to be a balance, you see. Then you're truly awakened. Then you can have the shift to where your frequency in that little third eye you got in here can tune into God frequency. And that's how we defeat the witches. That's how we defeat anyone who has ever done anything like this. Because it is a horrible, me personally going through it, and I've gone through this. It is a horrible feeling because it feels like you're in a dream You've woken up from a dream and you realize, what the hell did I do? What was that? No, that was a dream. That didn't happen. See, in my head, I'm still married to my wife. It paused that day. I'm still home. But reality is I'm not. It's a horrible thing to manipulate somebody in such a way. And you're going to pay for it. It's not me going to do it. All these holy wars, we're not going to go do a crusade and start chopping people's heads off and doing things like that. No. But we will wake others up. And the ones you put under the spell, we will wake them up. And then God will see you. It's not going to be good for you. I don't know. Our job is just to bring you to the judge. I'm not saying to murder, kill. That sounded bad. I didn't mean like that. Our job is to make the judge aware of you on this 3D realm. Then we back off. And it's amazing to watch. It's like watching the trash take itself out. We don't have to do anything. Hey, wake up. If you're under a spell, a love spell, wake up. If you're under a spell of poverty, if you're under any destructive spell from these witches, wake up. Father, the person who did this to this individual, there they are. That's all we have to do. And then stick together. We don't have to attack them. We don't have to do anything. Feel pity on them. I don't feel hatred. I'm not angry. I did say that I didn't think I had the capacity to hate, but I hate the fact that this horrible thing that is done to me and to countless others out there across the world. I feel hatred for the action. I feel sorry for the person. I still feel love. But then again, feelings are just, you know what I mean? Anyways, I was about to end the video and then it's like, no, dude, you got something else to say. P.S. So to my wife and to my children, I love you and I wish to return home. I am not the same man I was. And for anybody else who has been put under a spell as such, break out of it as early as you can. Listen to your friends. Listen to your people who are telling you and warning you about her or him. It's not just women that do this. Men do it too. It's time to end this. We're the Holy Warriors. Dude, maybe that's what we should call ourselves, the Holy Warriors. The Warriors of Light. The Warriors of Light. Although I walk in the shadow of the valley of darkness, I fear no evil. As above, so below. Go listen to Alan Watts. You know. I don't know. It's now like, it felt like whatever was talking through me is like done. And it's like, you're still standing on the stage and wrap it up. That's the feeling I'm getting. But yeah. Y'all be good. Peace. Like I said, I never know how to end these things. I'm never given an ending. I'm just giving the message. There you go. I don't know what that was. I was gonna wink at you, and I was like, I just did that. That was me doing that, being weird, because I'm a goofball. Like I said, I love life. I'm back into this mood again. I'm all like, yeah, hey. One love, one life. Stay strong. Walk in the light. And thank you for the abundance of knowledge. Funny how the tree of knowledge wakes you up, huh? And you realize the tree of life is actually the tree of death. Life is great. All right, I'm just pushing stop.